Module 2, Technologies and Tools, Set-4. Asset Management. Asset management is a systematic process of developing, operating, maintaining, upgrading, and disposing of assets in the most cost-effective manner, including all costs, risks and performance attributes. HIDS/HIPS. By definition, HIPS is an installed software package which monitors a single host for suspicious activity by analyzing events occurring within that host. In other words, a host intrusion prevention system, HIPS, aims to stop malware by monitoring the behavior of code. HIDS, Host-Based Intrusion Detection System. Host intrusion detection systems, HIDS, run on individual hosts or devices on the network. A HIDS monitors the inbound and outbound packets from the device only and will alert the user or administrator if suspicious activity is detected. HIPS, Host-Based Intrusion Prevention System. By definition, HIPS is an installed software package which monitors a single host for suspicious activity by analyzing events occurring within that host. In other words, a host intrusion prevention system, HIPS, aims to stop malware by monitoring the behavior of code. Antivirus. Antivirus software, or antivirus software, abbreviated to AV software, also known as anti-malware, is a computer program used to prevent, detect, and remove malware. Antivirus software was originally developed to detect and remove computer viruses, hence the name. File Integrity Check. File Integrity Monitoring, FIM, is an internal control or process that performs the act of validating the integrity of operating system and application software files using a verification method between the current file state and a known, good baseline. Other file attributes can also be used to monitor integrity. Host-based firewall. Host-based firewalls are deployed directly on the host itself to control network traffic or other computing resources. This can be a daemon or service as a part of the operating system or an agent application for protection. Application whitelisting. Application whitelisting is the practice of specifying an index of approved software applications or executable files that are permitted to be present and active on a computer system. The goal of whitelisting is to protect computers and networks from potentially harmful applications. Patch management tools. Patch management tools automate the otherwise manual process of acquiring, testing, and applying patches to a computer system. These tools can be used to identify missing patches on systems, deploy patches, and generate reports to track the status of a patch across various computers. UTM, Unified Threat Management. Unified Threat Management, UTM, is an approach to information security where a single hardware or software installation provides multiple security functions. This contrasts with the traditional method of having point solutions for each security function. DLP, Data Loss Prevention. Data loss prevention, DLP, is a strategy for making sure that end users do not send sensitive or critical information outside the corporate network. The term is also used to describe software products that help a network administrator control what data end users can transfer. Data Execution Prevention, DEP. Data Execution Prevention, DEP, is a system-level memory protection feature that is built into the operating system starting with Windows XP and Windows Server 2003. DEP enables the system to mark one or more pages of memory as non-executable. Web Application Firewall. Description. A web application firewall is a special type of application firewall that applies specifically to web applications. It is deployed in front of web applications and analyzes bidirectional web-based, HTTP, traffic, detecting and blocking anything malicious. Cellular. A cellular network or mobile network is a communication network where the last link is wireless. The network is distributed over land areas called cells, each served by at least one fixed location transceiver, but more normally, 3 cell sites or base transceiver stations. Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is a family of wireless network protocols, based on the IEEE 800 and 2.11 family of standards, which are commonly used for local area networking of devices and Internet access. Channels can be shared between networks, but only one transmitter can locally transmit on a channel at any moment in time. SATCOM. SATCOM, which stands for Satellite Communication, was an artificial geostationary satellite that facilitated wide-area telecommunications by receiving radio signals from Earth, amplifying them, and relaying them back down to terrestrial receivers. Bluetooth. Bluetooth is a wireless technology standard used for exchanging data between fixed and mobile devices over short distances using UHF radio waves in the ISM bands, from 2.402 GHz to 2.480 GHz, and building personal area networks, PANs. Bluetooth is a short-range wireless communication technology standard. NFC, Near Field Communication. Near Field Communication, NFC, is a set of communication protocols for communication between two electronic devices over a distance of 4 cm, 2 in, or less. NFC can be used for sharing small files such as contacts, and bootstrapping fast connections to share larger media such as photos, videos, and other files. ANT. Apache ANT is a software tool for automating software build processes which originated from the Apache Tomcat project in early 2000 as a replacement for the make-build tool of Unix. Unlike make, which uses the makefile format, ANT uses XML to describe the code build process and its dependencies. Infrared. Infrared, IR, sometimes called infrared light, is electromagnetic radiation, EMR, with wavelengths longer than those of visible light. It is therefore invisible to the human eye. The balance between absorbed and emitted infrared radiation has a critical effect on Earth's climate. USB, Universal Serial Bus. Universal Serial Bus, USB, is an industry standard that establishes specifications for cables and connectors and protocols for connection, communication, and power supply, interfacing, between computers, peripherals, and other computers. Application Management. Application Service Management, ASM, is an emerging discipline within systems management that focuses on monitoring and managing the performance and quality of service of business transactions. This is critical to ASM's requirement to be able to isolate the source of service impacting conditions. Content Management. Content Management, CM, is a set of processes and technologies that supports the collection, managing, and publishing of information in any form or medium. When stored and accessed via computers, this information may be more specifically referred to as digital content, or simply as content. Remote wipe. Remote wipe is a security feature that allows a network administrator or device owner to send a command that deletes data to a computing device. It is primarily used to erase data on a device that has been lost or stolen so that if the device falls into the wrong hands, the data won't be compromised. Geofencing. Geofencing is a location-based service in which an app or other software uses GPS, RFID, Wi-Fi or cellular data to trigger a pre-programmed action when a mobile device or RFID tag enters or exits a virtual boundary set up around a geographical location, known as a geofence. Geolocation. In computing, Internet geolocation is software capable of deducing the geographic position of a device connected to the Internet. For example, the device's IP address can be used to determine the country, city, or post/zip code, determining an object's geographical location. Screen locks. They regulate immediate access to a device by requiring that the user perform a certain action in order to receive access, such as entering a password, using a certain button combination, or performing a certain gesture using a device's touch screen. Passwords and pins. A password, sometimes called a passcode, is a memorized secret, typically a string of characters, usually used to confirm a user's identity. If the permissible characters are constrained to be numeric, the corresponding secret is sometimes called a personal identification number, PIN. Biometrics. Biometrics are body measurements and calculations related to human characteristics. Biometrics authentication, or realistic authentication, is used in computer science as a form of identification and access control. It is also used to identify individuals in groups that are under surveillance. Context-aware authentication. Context awareness is a property of mobile devices that is defined complementarily to location awareness. Context awareness originated as a term from ubiquitous computing or as so-called pervasive computing, which sought to deal with linking changes in the environment with computer systems, which are otherwise static. Full device encryption. The expression full disk encryption, FDE, or whole disk encryption, signifies that everything on the disk is encrypted, but the master boot record, MBR, or similar area of a bootable disk, with code that starts the operating system loading sequence, is not encrypted. Rooting/jailbreaking. Rooting is the process of allowing users of the Android mobile operating system to attain privileged control, known as root access, over various Android subsystems. Thus, it is primarily the third aspect of iOS jailbreaking, giving users administrative privileges, that most directly correlates to Android rooting. Rooting. Rooting is the process of allowing users of the Android mobile operating system to attain privileged control, known as root access, over various Android subsystems. Thus, it is primarily the third aspect of iOS jailbreaking, giving users administrative privileges, that most directly correlates to Android rooting. Jailbreaking. Jailbreak, computer science, a jargon expression for the act of overcoming limitations in a computer system or device that were deliberately placed there for security, administrative, or marketing reasons. iOS jailbreaking, overriding software limitations on the iPhone, iPod Touch, or iPad. Sideloading. Sideloading is a term used mostly on the Internet, similar to upload and download, but in reference to the process of transferring files between two local devices, in particular between a computer and a mobile device such as a mobile phone, smartphone, PDA, tablet, portable media player or e-reader. Custom firmware. Sometimes, third parties create an unofficial new or modified, aftermarket, version of firmware to provide new features or to unlock hidden functionality. This is referred to as custom firmware. An example is Rockbox as a firmware replacement for portable media players.